Alright, hey guys, this is Anthony from Atwo Studios, bringing you yet another update on our game Roy. So where I left off last week was I talked about the tutorial, pathing system, and I believe it was scaling. Yep, scaling. Okay. Coming off of that, we got a couple new things here, along with our existing power-ups and hazards. We did go and tweak those for the most part. As far as bugs wise, there's a couple wonky things. I didn't add, but we added the level select template, basically. So what it's going to look like, it's not yet functional, but it's there. There's one existing issue with it, and that's with the layering of the text, but it doesn't really matter because it's temporary for now until we get better art, so that's okay. And then a couple fixes from last week. So starting off on the main menu here, we kind of shrunk our title down, which is good. I believe last week it was pretty much touching the top of the screen, along with it was overlapping the text below here. And so with that being shrunk down, we're actually going to take, we should actually take like the modes box here and the buttons and actually shrink them to be proportional to, so overall we'll have a little bit more white space to play with that. Other than that, main menu should be okay. I got to do a little bit of reorganizing here towards the end of the development. Make sure everything flows properly. So I'm just going to hop right in here, starting with the tutorial. As you noticed, if you watched the video last week, you noticed that our player was all the way at the edge of the screen and kind of off the screen, to be exact. So we did go through and fix that. Just a minor thing, but you know, it needed to be fixed. So with that being said, as you can see, the text last time was it was touching the edge of the screen, so we did go ahead and shrink that down, which looks a lot better. It looks a lot more proportional to the screen, which is good. You'll notice here, it's kind of hard to see in the yellow. Let me go through again. We did start to add colorblind mode in here. That was one of our big issues that we discussed, and we're trying to fix. Was colorblind mode, because our game is revolved strictly around colors. And one way to tackle that, which you know, we may need some advice from you guys, is using numbers instead of colors, because there is different variations of colorblindness. And so using, you know, what may work for one type of colorblind may not work for another person's type or degree of colorblindness, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So instead, we'd use numbers. So it's kind of hard to see, and it's with the text, which we'll go through and actually create an art image to use instead of just like the game maker text we're using for now. It's the same text that's at your top of the screen here with the colored shapes for your goals. But we decided to use 1, 2, and 3. And you know, in the red there's a tiny white line which represents the 1. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that's not finalized. It's all temporary, just for us to test and dignify as something good we'd want to finish with the game. So we use the numbers 1, 2, 3, and then we'd also label the buttons, you know, 1, 2, 3, so the person knows, hey, if I'm hitting 1, that's a 1. Let me match those up. 2, 2, and 3, 3, same thing. You know, that's, you know, I don't know if it's something you guys may like. You know, feel free to leave a comment or suggestion on what you would like to see, you know, dictating colorblindness. If you do have a form of colorblindness, please let us know, so you know, we can help, or I guess we can tackle that problem better, I guess, to describe it. So yeah, we use numbers instead. Colors will still be there, so obviously, you know, people will still have a hard time seeing the colors, but they can use the numbers, which will make bold and clear and visible and all that business for the player. So hopefully that should help people who have color blindness out with our game. Okay, so going back in here, I'll save the level select for last, as that has the most significant change to it. So hop in here back into the endless mode, kind of show off some of the things. We do have new color combinations in here, which some may or may not be good, I guess, or like this one, like we got red and green, and then this brown, which kind of doesn't really fit with all the other combinations, so we may have to tweak the color on that for that. But anyways, this one is we have all new color combinations, is what I'm trying to say here. As you notice, as I'm getting these power-ups and hazards, we did add timers and for both the power-ups and hazards for that. So I'm trying to explain it. So you saw we got a hazard, right? And you'll see that white bar above us have to be a little countdown timer to tell how long we were under that hazard's effect for. And also the power-up, it's kind of hard to see in this one, but you can notice it's underneath our player and it kind of fades over time. And that, that's good for now. It gets the point across, but I think it would be better to have the power up on the top of the screen or the side of the screen, kind of blown up with either a bar, like a countdown bar, or a timer like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or something like that. Something out there so the player, it's visible for the player to see. For that, opposed to having the hazard timer right above our guy, which is clearly, clearly visible. We may just tweak the art on that or something to make that a little bit spiffier for that. But I think that is good for that. So we also did tweak the pathing system. We kind of moved it up a little bit, as some of the pathings were resulting in our character going underneath the buttons, which makes it unplayable for the player. So yeah, we did do that. You can see a little more visible with the numbers here regarding back to the colorblind mode. You see these black objects, and these black objects are new but old to us, at least. We originally had like meteors, as this is space theme, but we'll change it to black, meaning you want to avoid those at all costs, so don't touch those ones. Those ones will hurt and make you lose a life if you do. So just another thing to be aware of while playing the game. What else? Oh, we get the scaling for the size doubling and the size shrinking was a little wonky, I believe, in the last build, but if not, it was in the one before that, and we did go ahead and fix that. Make it more appropriate and proportional for that. A couple of power-ups we added were hearts, which get you an extra life, which is pretty standard across the board for any game. And then there's a paintbrush. I don't know if you saw it earlier when I was playing, but the paintbrush allowed us to change any of the objects to that color that we were currently holding. So this is very good for both the endless and the level mode, as in the level mode you're trying to get the different goals, the different colors to progress throughout the level. And so if you're having a hard time getting a certain color, if they're not dropping, or you just can't get to them in time or something, that paintbrush will help out, because then it'll allow the player to choose what color they need at that specific moment. So just another cool feature being added into the game for that. As far as bug fixes and tweaks, I believe that was it for this time. So last but not least, we do have the level select, and as I mentioned earlier, the first level has a layering issue. It's just a minor fix for that. Everything else is okay for that. So let's go right into it. So we decided to go with the planets, and I don't know if you guys possibly watched 2 videos before that where I did talk about the concept. I drew up a paper for the level select. and came up with planets. And what we're going to do is basically is a format tutorial, not really in comparison to the actual tutorial, but in turn, help the player get into the game. So if we're playing the game and we start off in the level, so we start off on level 1 here, we're on red planet, we're on level 1, you're just going to have access to 2 colors, so that be the red and yellow. You cannot make orange just yet. We're just adapting the player to get used to pressing the buttons and moving the guy around. Simple mechanics for that. So we'll go through 8 levels, something like that. I don't know if this is finalized yet, but it is what it's going to be for now. Like I said, we'll get different art too. This is just all placeholder art, all temporary for now. As you can see, we did readapt this. It used to be a list where you'd have to go up and down, but now we can side scroll, and it also has that cool fading in and out with the levels for that. So going back off the red planet, so we beat our levels and we move off to the white planet. And so on the white planet, what we're going to do is throw another mechanic in there. So okay, so now you master 2 colors. Now you can press the buttons and you can move the guy with ease. Alright, so let's go on to our white objects here. Those are the objects that you want to stay neutral and don't press anything and just get practice at moving the guy around by touching the screen above. That's difficult in itself because you may not think of that while you're playing the game. So we do want to get the player used to that because they will have to do that later on in the levels. And then going on here, we're going to the orange planet. So now we got white objects. We got one, red and yellow. And now we're going on to orange. So we're combining colors, and we also have to do the other game mechanics. So everything. So you can see, I guess what we're doing here is we're just kind of piling each other, like the game mechanics, on top of one another, and progress through the game like that. Yellow planet. I can't remember exactly what we specified for this. I may get them mixed up, but anyways, we'll introduce like black objects, ones that you want to avoid. You don't want to touch those ones. Or we may introduce power-ups and hazards in this world, so the player has to get used to that while they're playing the game. We get on to blue, green, purple, aqua, maroon, teal, and then black hole, which is basically take everything you've learned so far, and we're just going to go into a planet that just goes forever. And it'll progressively get harder and harder and harder, and use all the different combinations of the game features, or the things you learned in the game, the components, I guess would be the best way to describe it for the game. For that, and we'll just tie it all together. We'll add a new thing here or there that's not a part of what you learned, but maybe I don't know, some form of trickery or something that makes it more difficult, because we want people to have fun and have a new challenging experience while playing each level. So that's it for now. As you can see, trying to tap these levels, they're not yet working, but all we have to do is add the code back into it, or turn it back on and enable it for that. Another couple things we talked about is you can see, as you can see, you can't really back out when we're in the level select here. So we're talking about adding, the back button. Currently the back button doesn't work, and we may not want that to be enabled, because while you're playing with the buttons at the bottom, you may be sliding your fingers up and down, and that'll cause you to hit the home button, the back button, and so forth. So to have an actual back button or an exit button at the top of the screen will be helpful for the player, so they don't misclick and kick themselves out of the game and cause themselves to be frustrated. So we'll throw that in there, just a simple addition for that. And that is pretty much it. It's a matter of adding more art that kind of fits our theme, tweaking a bunch of things, tuning them, and finalizing all our assets that are going into the game. So for next week, we will start working, cleaning up a bunch of bugs or errors that currently is, which there isn't many. There's a few. Tweaking with text and layout issues, for next week. But also we're going to start looking into the Google Play services so we can tie the endless mode into a high score for online so people can compete against each other for that. I have in-app purchases soon, so we need to figure that out, tying that into Google. What else? I know we need to add, finish up the art. We need to add sounds because there's currently none in here, and I know that, and I'm sure some of you guys are wondering where the audio is. There's 0, but that's on the back burner in comparison to the actual game. And last thing is major thing, I can't believe I forgot that, but energy system. We will be doing an energy system that uses stars. So let's say I beat the level with 1 life. So my guy's frowning, he's not very happy. We get 1 star for that. And I think the way we're going to do it is if you don't get 3 stars, which is perfect, flawless, you didn't lose any lives while playing the game, you will not consume any energy. But if I get 2 or 1 stars, they will consume a set amount of energy, which the energy can be regained over time, or through power-ups, or something you can collect, I guess, in-app purchase, or something you can buy with the currency too. You may have noticed there's coins, which they don't really do anything at this point, but we will tie them into stuff in the store you can buy with the coins, or outside money for that. So stars will go under these levels here, and it'll show how many stars you have used or have gained, I guess, while playing the levels. And in order to unlock the next planet, you need a certain amount of stars. So that means you need to do, let's say we need to do perfect. So we need 3 times 8 here is 24 stars to get to the next planet. Well, we need to master these levels here to keep going forth. So, just another add of challenging gameplay for the player. But yet is the one of the other big components we're adding to the game, other than the back-end stuff. So without further ado, that is it for this weekly update on Roy. Again, I'm Anthony, and make sure to check out the website to stay tuned for our release. And any other updates you may have missed are found on the website at atwostudios.com. You can also check out the YouTube where I publish all these weekly updates, A2 Studios. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at A2 Studios and like us on Facebook at A2 Studios. Currently, the only one that's active is the website and the YouTube channel. As Twitter and Facebook, I do post the updates on there, but as far as anything else, there's not much to post on there because I cover it all in the weekly update video. After launch, I will be posting more frequently on there with things to discuss and talk about on our social medias. So if you'd like to throw us a follow or a like, do so now, because in the future I will be utilizing those accounts more. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, please drop a comment below, and thanks for watching this week's. So I will see you guys next week for the update.